Welcome to Countarts. In this lesson, we're going to be looking at the cash payments journal. We're going to explain what it is and explain what the format for the cash payments journal looks like and go through a thorough example in completing the cash payments journal. So if this is your first time looking at the cash payments journal, it should give you a good idea of how to do the cash payments journal, and you should be able to do it on your own. So what is the cash payments journal? The cash payments journal is used to record all cash paid by the entity during the period. This could be actual cash paid, checks written out, or electronic transfers. So however the entity pays money out, that will be recorded in the cash payments journal. Now remember, cash received or owed by the entity is not recorded in the cash payments journal. There are other journals for which we record those ones, like cash received is recorded in the cash receipts journal, and we've done that lesson. You'll find it in the link in the description below. So what does the cash payments journal look like? Well, here it is. We have the name of the company, and that is how you record it. You write the name of the company. We have Eldo's Flowers over here, and then you write the name of the journal. It's the cash payments journal, and for the period for which it is prepared. So here an example is December 2021. And then you have here the document number. You put the document number that you are given in your transactions. If you're not given a document number, you can just record the document numbers in sequence, like 01, 02, 03, and so forth. But if you're given the document numbers, you'd record it there. And then you have the day here, and this is the day of the month. So for example, we have put 01, which means the first day of the month of December 2021, as you can see up here as an example. And then you have the details over here. Now the details here is either the name of the person that you are paying the money to, or if you are paying it using cash, you could write there cash. And you will see how it works just now with an example that we'll be going through. And then you've got what is called folio, or FOL. This is a cross-reference code, and it is usually a number or a combination of numbers and letters, and it is mainly for connecting two different records. So this is showing you where else it is found in another record, or where it's taken to, or where it's coming from. So we're not going to worry much about this one here in completing the cash payments journal. And then we have bank. This is where we will record all the amounts that we are paying out. Okay, so if on the first day of the month you paid out 10,000 Rand, you will put it here under bank. Okay, and then what else do you have? You have here purchases, which is another column here. So if you purchased inventory or merchandise or stock, you'd record that amount under purchases as well. So it could be the same amount as you have on the bank. And then you have creditors. This column here is when you are paying your creditors. So if you bought something from someone on credit or from a supplier on credit, and now you're paying them, you'd record it over here under creditors. Discount received. If you received any discount from your creditors, for instance, you would record it under discount received. And then we have wages as well. Wages is if you have paid particular wages, then you'd record it under there. And then sundry account. What do you do in the sundry account? Well, the sundry account is where you record all the other amounts for which you do not have a column. What do I mean by that? Well, if you can see here, we have three columns, or we have four columns rather. We have purchases, we have creditors, we have discount received, and we have wages. We don't have any other column. Let's say you paid for water and electricity, for instance. You don't have a column for water and electricity. You will put it in the sundry account. So the sundry account is where you record all the other accounts for which you do not have a column. So if you have water and electricity, like I just mentioned, you'd record the amount here, and you'd record the detail as water and electricity. But if you're paying for something like wages or creditors, like I mentioned, you have columns for those, you'll put it over here. Now yours might look slightly different if you have an example in your book, or you've gone through it in a class or in your study guide. How might it be different? Well, you might have a column for, let's say, water and electricity, and here I have a column for wages. You may not have for wages, but you'll get the idea here. If you do not have a column for a particular thing, you put it in the Sunday account, but if you have a column for it, you put it in its specific column. So that is just what I have to mention, but other than that, you will understand it very well as we go through the example. So now that we know the format for the cash payments journal, let's go through an example in completing it. Here is the example. We're told that the information given below was extracted from the records of Eldo's Flowers ignore VAT. So here we are going to ignore VAT. We have done another lesson on the cash payments journal where we have to take into account VAT. You'll find it in the link in the description as well. We are asked to record them in the cash payments journal for December 2021. The company uses a periodic inventory system. Now, many students like to ignore that statement, whether it's using a periodic inventory system or a perpetual inventory system, but it's actually very important when you're completing your journal. And I'll explain when we get to those particular examples where we have to take into account what inventory system they're using. So we know they're using periodic inventory system, so we'll have to take it into account. Now, let's begin. On the first day of the month, you can see on the red here is the day of the month. So let's start. On the first day, we have Benny B, the owner, invested 30,000 Rand in the business, issued receipt 010. What happened here? The owner invested 30,000 Rand in the business. Now, the question is, do we record in the cash payments journal or do we not? Well, this is money that is coming into the account of the business. That means we are not paying it out. Remember, cash payments journal is only focused on the money that is paid out by the business. But here, this is money coming in, so we're going to skip that one over there. So I'm going to highlight whatever we are skipping in purple, and then whatever we are doing, once we are done, I'll highlight it in black. So let's highlight that one there because we're not going to take that into account because it's money received and not paid out. Okay, on the second day of the month, we paid the month's rent by check, 3,000 Rand. Check number 01 was issued. Now what happened here? We paid money out. So what do we know? We know that it has to go into the cash payments journal. We paid it using a check. So we put the date, which is 02, and we have the check number, which is 01. So we're going to put the document number as 01 and the day as 02. So let's go to our cash payments journal. You can see they have already put the document number 01 and then the day there is 02. And what is the detail that we have to take into account here? What did we pay for? We can see here we paid for the month's rent. So we paid for rentals, but we paid it using cash. So we're going to record cash under details. The details section is where you record the name of the supplier or how you paid for it. So we paid for wages using cash, and then we're going to skip the folio here for now, as I mentioned earlier on. And then in the bank section is how much we paid out. How much did we pay? We paid 3,000 Rand, as you saw in the example. And then we go ahead, we see, do we have a column here for rent? Well, we have for purchases, we have for creditors, we have for discount received, we have for wages. We do not have a column for rent. That means it will go into the sundry account. I hope it's making sense now with what I was explaining earlier. So we put the amount there, 3,000 Rand, and the details is going to be rent. Okay? And we've just completed the first transaction. So let's go back and highlight it in black because we've just completed that one and it went into the cash payments journal. Now, on the 3rd of the month, we bought inventory from Ego Capital by check, 2,500. Check 02. So here we bought inventory from Ego Capital. So you always ask yourself in every transaction, did we pay money out or did we receive money? Well, in this case, we paid money out. It goes into the cash payments journal. So we put the document number here as 02 and then the day is 03. So let's go ahead and do that one. Document number 02, day 03. Now, who did we buy this inventory from, or which supplier did we buy it from? Well, let's go back. As you can see, we bought inventory from Ego Capital. So we're going to put the name of the supplier there, Ego Capital. And this is what we meant when we said under details, you put the name of the person that you are paying. But you'll notice for the first one, we put cash because we're not given the name of the landlord that we're paying or the person to whom we're paying the rentals. Okay, I hope that one has cleared it out. So if you're given the name, you put it under details. If you're not given the name, then you'd put it as cash under details, and you'll see as we continue along as well. And the amount there is the one that we are given, and if you go back, you'll see it's 2,500. That is how much we bought the inventory for. So we put there 2,500. Now that is what goes under bank. Now where else do we put this 2,500? Well, now that is where the inventory system that the company uses comes into play. Remember, if they're using the periodic inventory system as they are in this particular example, then you will have purchases and we'll put it there under purchases as well, 2,500. If it was the perpetual inventory system, if your example is using the perpetual inventory system, then instead of purchases you have what's called inventory and you'll put it under inventory instead of purchases. So you'll have a column for inventory instead of purchases. But here we have purchases because it's using the periodic inventory system. Okay, so we've just completed that one. So we'll go and highlight the one that we have just done on the 3rd. And then on the 6th, we received rent from a tenant, King Wave Limited, 1,500 receipt 011. Well, what do you do with this one? Well, if you guessed we do not put it in the cash payments journal, you would be correct. This one goes in the cash receipts journal, and you'll find the link to that particular lesson in the description below as mentioned. So this one here, we'll skip it, does not go into the cash payments journal because we are receiving money and not paying it out. So let's highlight that one. And what I would encourage you to do going forward from here is to pause it and try and finish it off on your own and gauge your understanding of doing the cash payments journal. And once you're done, you can come back and continue the video and compare your answers to mine and see how well you did. So go ahead and do that. Okay, I hope you've completed it, and if you've done it on your own, you will better understand it if you can attempt it before looking at the solution. So on the 8th, we paid for insurance by check 1,200. Okay, so obviously it's day 08, and the document number will just follow the sequence. We have done 2 so far, as highlighted by the black. We've done 01 and 02, so we're just going to put this on as 03. And that is what I meant earlier when I said if you're not given the document number, then you'll just follow the sequence or put sequences in it. Okay, and you can see here also we are not given the name of the insurer or the company to whom we are paying the insurance, so we're just going to put cash as the detail. So let's go ahead and do that. We have 03 as the document number. We are following the sequence, and the day is 08, and the detail there, as you can see, I mentioned we were not given the name of the company, so we just put cash there, and under bank we put 1,200 because that is how much we paid for insurance. Now, which other column do we put this? Well, as you can see, we have no column for insurance. What does that mean? It means it will go into the sundry account. So we go to the sundry account and put 1,200, and then under details we put the insurance. I hope it's making sense. Let's go back and highlight that one as you've just completed it. On the 9th, we bought inventory on credit from Shiligo, 1,000 rand. So here we bought inventory, but we bought it on credit. We did not buy it on cash. So that's very important, because sometimes students would look at the word bought inventory and they would immediately assume it goes to the cash payments journal. But hold on, did we pay cash? No, we have not paid it yet because we bought it on credit. So since we have not paid it yet, we will not record it in the cash payments journal. We only record it in the cash payments journal when we are making the payment. So let's highlight that one. And then on the 10th, we bought inventory on credit from Ego Capital, 3,000 rand. Again, that's the same thing. We're going to skip that one because we didn't pay actual cash. We bought it on credit. So let's highlight that one. And what do we mean by buying on credit? Well, it means that you took the inventory, but you have not paid it yet. You're going to pay at the later date. That's what that means. And then on the 14th, inventory was sold for cash as per receipt 012, 12,000 rand. Does this go into the cash payments journal? No, it does not, because we are selling inventory here. We are not buying inventory. So by selling inventory on cash, we are receiving the cash and not paying it out. So this one goes into the cash receipts journal. It does not go into the cash payments journal that we are doing right now. So let's highlight that one in purple as well. And then on the 18th, paid wages by check 1,800. Okay, so here we paid for wages, then it definitely goes into the cash payments journal. So we're going to put the document number. We're not given here, so we're going to continue with our sequence, and the date is the 18th, and then the amount is 1,800. So let's go ahead and do that. Document number 04, and the day is day 18. So here for wages, we're going to put it as cash. So usually when you have wages, you put it as cash and you put the amount there, 1,800. Now, do we have a column for wages? Yes, we do. If we have the column for wages, that's where we put the 1,800, and that's the last column before sundry account. So we put the 1,800, and we've just completed that one. So let's go back and highlight that one. On the 21st, we borrowed 15,000 rand from Mula Bank and deposited the check. Receipt 013. Well, here we borrowed money and we deposited the check, meaning money was coming in and we're not paying out. So it does not go into the cash payments journal. So let's highlight that one. And then on the 23rd, we bought equipment from Chiltree by check 7,000 rand. So this one goes into the cash payments journal because we bought equipment by check. So our document number will continue with the sequence, and our date is the 23rd, and then we'll have to put the name of the person from whom we bought this equipment, and the name is Chill Tree. So here we are given the name. So let's go ahead and do that. The document number is 05, the day is 23rd, and then if we go back, you will see the name of the entity from whom we bought the equipment is Chill Tree. So we're going to put that as the details, Chill Tree, and then under bank we put the amount 7,000 rand. That's how much we bought the equipment for. And do we have a column for equipment? No, we do not. So we are going to put it in the sundry account. So put the amount 7,000 rand there, and under details we put equipment. Okay, I hope it now makes much more sense what goes under sundry account. Okay, let's go back and highlight that one as you've just completed it. On the 30th, issued a check to Shiligo in full settlement of account after deducting 10% discount. This is very important to pay attention to the details that you're given. You issued a check to Shiligo. Now you're asking yourself, who is Shiligo? Well, usually you would look back through the transactions and see if you can pick up the name Shiligo, because we did not just issue a check to them, we issued a check in full settlement, meaning whatever we bought from them on credit, we are paying it in full. But it's after deducting a 10% discount, meaning they did give us a 10% discount. Now, if you looked at our lesson and you watched our full lesson on the cash receipts journal, this will be quite easy for you to go through. But we'll go into it in great detail so that even if you are looking at the cash receipts journal later, it will be much easier in addressing a similar transaction. So here is what you do. You go back through your transactions and see if you can find Shiligo. And if you look back, you'll see that on the 9th, we bought inventory on credit from Shiligo. And that's the only place we find Shiligo there, which is a supplier, because we're buying inventory from them and we bought it on credit. So we owed them how much? 1,000 rand as per the 9th. You can see we bought it on credit from them and it's 1,000 rand. So since we owed them 1,000 rand, we have fully settled that 1,000 rand. However, they did give us a 10% discount. So we know that's on the 30th day of the month. So we're going to put that as the day, and the document number will continue with our sequence. So let's do just that. We're going to put the document number as 06, continuing with the sequence, and the day is day 30. And what is the detail here? Well, as you can see, it's Shiligo, the name of the supplier that we are paying. So we'll go ahead and put the Shiligo. Okay, so let's go back and calculate how much we actually paid them and how much the discount was that we received. So how much discount did we receive? Well, as you can see here, it's the 1,000 rand that we owed them on the 9th. Remember, you always go back and check the name of the supplier and see how much you owed them, times the 10% discount that they gave us, and the discount is 100 rand. So if they gave us a discount of 100 rand, how much did we actually pay them? Well, the amount paid was 1,000 rand times 90%. How did I get 90%? Well, if 100% is what we owe them and they give us 10% discount, 100% minus 10% gives us 90%. That means we only paid 90%, and the amount that we actually paid is 900 rand. It's very important for you to calculate both the discount and the amount that you actually paid them, and you'll see how it works in the cash payments journal. Another way you could have calculated this is just by taking the 1,000 rand minus the discount of 100 rand, and it will give you that 900 rand that we have calculated down there. Okay, so let's go back to our cash payments journal. As you can see here, we've just put under bank there 900 rand. It's very important that you put the amount that you actually paid them and not the 1,000 rand that you owed them, because you only paid 900 because of the discount that you were given. Okay, now that we've put the 900 rand under bank, what else do we do? Well, we go to the creditors column. But remember, creditors column is for what you have paid or what you have settled with your creditors. How much are you going to put under the creditors column? And this is where many students make the mistake. So you have to pay very careful attention to this. What you put under the creditors column is not how much you actually paid them, but how much you actually settled. So that's why it's very important that they told us that we settled in full, because if we settled in full, it means we no longer owe them the full amount of 1,000 rand. That is what you put under the creditors column. Okay, if your transaction told you you paid partly the amount that you owed your creditor, then you put in the amount that you actually paid. But in this case, they told us we settled in full and we only paid 900 because of the discount. So under creditors, we put the full amount of 1000 rand. I hope it has made sense, because we settled the full 1000 rand even though we only paid 900. But it's because they gave us a discount, and that is where the next column comes in. Discount received was 100 rand, so we put the 100 rand, and we have just completed that one there. I hope it's made sense. Creditors column, you put the full amount that you owe them if you've settled in full, and under discount received, obviously you put the discount that you actually received, and under the bank column, you put the actual amount that you paid to the supplier. Okay, so let's go back and highlight that one as we have just completed it. So we highlight it, and you can see we have just completed all the transactions that we had to go through. Now that we have completed it, all we have to do is go back to our cash payments journal and just put down our total. So we'll just add the totals for all the columns for which we have amounts, and we will have the amounts there. So you can see under bank we have 16,400, and we have the totals for all the other columns here. And that is how you do the cash payments journal. I hope it has made sense. I hope you've gained value from this lesson and you now know how to do the cash payments journal. You'll find the link to our next lesson on the cash payments journal in the description below, where we take into account VAT as well as the lessons on the cash receipts journal and other journals as well. If you have indeed gained value, consider subscribing to our channel, liking this video, and share it to those you think it might help. Till next time, cheers.